family, and we have a fast truck. I think we're capable of winning. Our truck is really good in the pack, is really good up front, and we have a sweet start spot here in third place, so I think we can make it today.
Well, Miguel Paluta looking for win number 1. He'll roll off third in Chicago. Danielle?
Hermie, thanks so much. A gorgeous Friday night to go racing here at Chicagoland. The skies are clear. Currently, the temperature 61. It'll creep into the 50s by the time this race ends tonight. For the first time, it's starting to feel like fall. We see boots on some of the ladies tucked into those jeans and some scarves. Matt Crafton bundling up his baby there. It's going to be a chilly one, but a great night as well. We're scheduled to run 150 laps this evening, or 225 miles. And a dramatic weekend of racing here for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. The Camping World Truck Series kicks things off with some Friday night racing under the lights, and chase contender Kyle Busch is in the field with some extra seat time at this intermediate track. Jet Burton is on the pole for the 5th time this season. Ty Dillon will line up on the outside. Enjoy the race from Chicagoland, folks. We're bringing you the action next, live on Fox Sports 1.
Contact from the 31 of Buescher. Do it again in 2013. Buescher winning in Iowa. Number 17, he will let his displeasure be known.
Buescher bullied his way to victory lane in Iowa. Now, who will throw down in Chi-Town? When the Camping World Truck Series storms through the Windy City, things will get wild. These truckers will have to sort out their differences as they soar into the corners at speeds upwards of 175 miles an hour. Every move, every point gain will be intensified as the points battle boils over. Will Peters pounce the field and stir the pot again? Can Crafton hold off the charge from the reigning champ? Who will capture the win in Chicago? Don't miss the compelling Truck Series coverage from Chicagoland Speedway.
Welcome to Joliet, Illinois. We're getting ready for the next installment of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. It's the EnjoyIllinois.com 225. And once again, Brad Keselowski has decided to throw his name into the hat. He's never won in the Truck Series. That's right. The defending Cup Series champion needs a win in the trucks. The defending series champion in the trucks has momentum. James Buescher starts 9th in this one and only 37 points back. Kyle Busch, whenever he enters a Truck Series race, has to be considered a favorite. And especially here, in the 4 races, he's won 2 of them in the trucks. But Jet Burton, earlier today, won the pole. It's the 5th pole this year, but he's never raced here before. Let's get things underway. We go trackside for our pre-race festivities.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Inspector Instructor Staff 2nd Battalion, 24th Marines, 4th Marine Division out of Chicago, Illinois, presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Raceway Ministries Chaplain Michael White offers tonight's invocation.
Our Heavenly Father, we are thankful for this beautiful day that you have given us. It's a privilege to be part of a sport that still understands the importance of seeking your hand for safety. We thank you for the many men and women that have served and continue to serve so that we have the freedom to lift your name. We ask you for safety on this track today for the drivers and their teams. We ask you to protect the emergency personnel, Lord, and we just give you honor. And we ask these things in your name, the name that's above all names, Jesus. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome from Nashville, exciting new country artist, Chelsea Bain.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. for the land of the free and the home of the
Final words of encouragement given to the drivers before they strap into the trucks. It's been a long day. 9 o'clock this morning is when they got in for our first 2.5 hours of practice before qualifying, and now it's down to 150 laps, 225 miles. That's next. Gorgeous evening for racing. We get ready for 150 laps, 225 miles under the lights at Chicagoland Speedway. Temperature just 61 degrees, almost fall-like here in Joliet, Illinois. Wind has subsided just a bit, just 10 miles per hour. 7 races remain in the 2013 season, and the battle for the title is heating up. Crafton has the top spot, but Buescher has the momentum. Will that battle continue tonight on the track? Well, that track is extremely unpredictable, so the unpredictability is going to play into the strategy of tonight's race. Hello again. It's Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, and Michael Waltrip with you. Just 7 races to go in this season, and Crafton and Buescher have got a real tussle going right now.
They really do. You know, James Buescher comes off a championship year in 2012. The first 7 races of the year, Matt Crafton finishes better than James Buescher. But in 6 of the last 8 races, it's reversed. James Buescher has finished ahead of Matt Crafton, including 2 big wins there. There's Michigan with 1 win, and then the second win with Iowa. Over that last 4 races, 9 bonus points for James Buescher, 0 for Matt Crafton. He's on the roll. He's gained 27 points in the last 4 races. He has time to do it.
So that's our championship battle. How about the battle tonight for 150 laps?
I don't care about no stinking points. This is a racetrack where these guys are going to get with it. We saw in practice a lot of drafting, guys getting side by side, and watch the third truck pull up so quickly on those others. So when we see a battle side by side, there's going to be other trucks join those battles. And look at how wild practice was, going down on the apron already. This race will have it all tonight. Unpredictability is going to be not only when the trucks are under green flag, but the caution restarts. They're going to be out of control, guys, 2 and 3 wide trying to grab spots. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Looked a lot like Michigan to me.
It's crazy. And we're going to keep that theme going. Guess who's going to give the command to start the engines tonight? Abraham Lincoln is here. Let's go for the command.
And now for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal representing Illinois, enjoyillinois.com, Abraham Lincoln.
Drivers, start your engines.
All right, buddy, fire it up.
A very presidential command to get things underway from Chicagoland. Can Austin Dillon go 2 for 2 in the Truck Series in 2013? We're about to find out. Stay with us here on Fox Sports 1. The green flag flies next. Welcome back. The Enjoy Illinois. .com 225 about to get underway. The truck's about to roll out onto the track. And a very interesting racetrack this is. A 1.5-mile track. And people continue to call 1.5-mile tracks cookie cutters, but in our Camping World track description, you have to look that it's not like every other mile and a half.
They really all have their own nuances. This one 18 degrees but fast. Original surface here back in 2001, and they haven't repaved it, but there's still a lot of grip, especially with these cool temperatures.
That's right. The temperature is a real friend to these guys tonight. A lot of grip. We heard Johnny Sauter talking earlier today. Everybody's going to be brave. That grip makes you feel like Superman.
Purse over $600,000. The pit window between 50 and 55 laps. If you do the math, that means the expected pit stops are going to be right around 3 times.
Yeah, if it lands perfectly, you could do it at 50 and 100, but more than likely, things don't work out that way.
Well, we've seen that we have a couple Cup stars in the field tonight. Let's go trackside for one of the stories, and Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, Rick. Brad Keselowski is the 2010 Nationwide Series champion, the 2012 Sprint Cup Series champion, but he has not won in the Camping World Truck Series. He's going to try to do that tonight. He wants to join a small group of people that have won in all three of the top series divisions. You can see right here, 23 drivers have won in all three divisions. An interesting note, this race was originally scheduled to be a race for Joey Logano, but now that Logano's in the chase and also racing the Nationwide Series, Joey Logano's out and Brad Keselowski's in, trying to make it to victory lane in the Truck Series. Ray?
You know, Hermie, when I got the entry list this week, I looked at just those two guys as being the outsiders, Keselowski and the number 51 of Kyle Busch. But guess what? We've got another outsider in the field, and that happened by accident. Tonight, Austin Dillon will be driving the number 24, the Core 24 Chevrolet for NTS Motorsports. Now, Austin is here tonight simply because Brennan Newberry is not feeling well. Austin did practice the truck and qualify it, and I talked to him moments ago, said he thinks he can win. But we thought we were only going to see Austin Dillon one time this year. That was earlier at Eldora Speedway. Guess what? He won the pole, took the checkered flag, went in there and got the victory, and he was able to scoop the very first dirt at Eldora Speedway. What a big accomplishment. And guess what, guys? He's a former champion, but tonight, he's got a rookie stripe.
You don't see that very often in a champion. We're going to ride along with a few different trucks tonight. Take us through.
Yeah, how about our buddy Kenny Wallace? He will be making career start number 899 in NASCAR. American Ethanol on board that Toyota to give him a ride, and he will start from the 22nd spot.
Let's hop inside of the truck that Brad Keselowski drives. He's starting 11th in the draw tight Ford. Brad had a good run in the Cup car qualifying. And Brad, it's Michael up in the Fox Sports 1 booth. You ready for this race, buddy? It's going to be wild, I think.
Yeah, Michael, how about you? I'm ready.
Yeah, your truck's running good. You had a great practice, fastest in the morning. How do you feel about your chances? You got her tuned up and ready?
Well, I was really inspired last week by Ross Chastain. He drove this truck in dang near 1 in Iowa, so I gotta live up to what he did. He's going to show me up if I don't. So, you know, the trucks have been running a little bit better every week. I'm proud of everybody at BKR for just a little bit more every week. Ryan Blaney's been running really well in the team truck, and I really want to win for draw tight. The sponsor's been with me for a little while and hasn't gotten a win yet, so that means a lot for both them and Ford, so that's what we're shooting for.
Well, I don't know if you heard about this or not, but I lost a few races in a row before I finally won one. It really got on my nerves, people saying, when are you going to win? And I bet you're about tired of hearing that about this truck, aren't you?
Yes, I am. We got more second-place finishes than I can remember, but you know, I'd like to fix that tonight. It would mean a lot to me. Michael, you know, and a lot of the guys that are familiar with the truck series, that my family's been involved in this series for a long time, and it only feels right to, you know, keep that going on with my own team. And I'd love to win a race as a driver for sure. That'd really mean a lot to me. So I'm going to try and get that done tonight, and appreciate your support.
Well, we appreciate you supporting the truck series. Being an owner in this series is great. Thanks, Brad. Have fun. We'll check in later.
Sounds good, Michael. Have a good time.
Why don't we ride along with our point leader as well, the Menards Toyota of Matt Crafton. Matt will start with that 37-point lead from the 8th spot, trying to hold on to it. All top 10 finishes this year.
Let's go next door. Kyle Busch is going to start 7th in his Dollar General Toyota. Kyle's won 3 races this year in the trucks. He's won 33 races in his career in the truck series. So Brad and him have a lot in common. They're both favorites tonight. One of them's won 33 times, the other one not at all.
Do you have a favorite now? We've heard from a lot of the players. You got a couple of young guys up front, and Jeb Burton and Ty Dillon. Can they stay up there and break the record that has been set here at Chicagoland by not being able to win from the front row?
I'm going to go with experience.
I am too. You just see, there's so much difference when you throw the green flag at night. We practice during the day, so these veterans, these guys that understand what this track's going to do, I think it's going to be an advantage. One of the 2 trucks I talked to, I think will get to victory lane, either Brad or Kyle. And you know, last time those 2 raced against finished 2 and 3 to Ty Dillon. So you're on a fast truck up there on the front row, Rick, but I just don't think they're going to beat him.
How about those 2, 19 and 51, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch. This racetrack, they've had success in other series as well as here. Brad Keselowski has won in the Cup Series. He's won in the Nationwide Series, but this is his first truck series start here.
Yeah, and that's really coincidental because Brad Keselowski has not got to victory lane yet in the Truck Series, but he can win in any vehicle at any time. So any one of these Truck Series races, he's going to put in victory lane.
Look how mad he is about it, too. Look at that scowl.
There's a scowl
I got to
on
go
his
win a
face.
race, man. I'm tired of hearing it.
And one thing he didn't bring up, but I know would be great, is to join the fraternity that, Michael, you're a part of. Drivers that have won in all 3 series. He's won in the Cup Series. He's won in the Nationwide Series. He just needs to add the Truck Series win. Can he get there from his starting position tonight? We're about to find out. Jeb Burton won the pole earlier today. He brings the field to the green flag.
How about Paluda already making it 3 wide?
And Lofton pushing that 4 of Jeb Burton on the outside.
Talked about the starts and the restarts being crazy. That's a good example right there.
Man, can you imagine how much the intensity will be cranked up later in the race when these guys try to make a restart with everything on the line? That was just to get going. And look at Ty Dillon. He dropped from the front row all the way back to the back half of the top 5.
Trying to hang on to the top 5 position is Ty Dillon. Behind him, it's 3 wide, fighting for position.
Does this look like Daytona or what? You see Kyle Busch pushing, Matt Crafton up through the pack. That looked like they were drafted in Daytona.
And Austin Dillon in that 424, number 24, down the bottom of the racetrack, trying to hold on to his spot.
So many of the drivers during our practice sessions were talking about the draft and how important the draft was and how effective the draft was and how much faster these trucks could run in the draft.
Jeb Burton holding on to the top spot. Lofton, who pushed him up there, running in second. Miguel Paludo third. Ty Dillon and Matt Crafton your top 5.
Good to see Justin Lofton having a good run here. Just running part-time this year. Got to victory lane for that Eddie Sharp Racing team at Charlotte last year. Won at this race in the ARCA Series back in his championship season in 2009.
And he's putting some heat on our leader, Jeb Burton. It looks like that 6 truck of Lofton is faster than Burton. He's able to hang right with him. And, you know, we've already talked about how we're getting a report that they're going to black flag the 32. Before the start-finish line, you cannot pass. You cannot change lanes. You have to remain in line. They reviewed the tape.
Start-finish line.
Just watch the start-finish line. They will rule that he started his pass.
Initiated it, yep.
He initiated that pass when he got to the before he got to the start-finish line.
Well, I think it's more he changed lanes.
Yeah.
You have to stay in your lane, and he got out of his lane, and that made that restart of that original start as wild as we thought it would be. So wild, somebody got black flagged over.
Yeah, they're going to post the 32. He will have to make his way onto pit road for that infraction.
Flagman definitely posted that black flag for Miguel Paludo. What a horrible break for Miguel Paludo.
After what looked like a great start, he actually got a little bit too good of a start.
That's a great call by the NASCAR officials. That truck indeed did change lanes, and he started to initiate a pass prior to. I hope Kyle knows he's coming. Whoa, I don't think he did.
Very close call there for the 32. And right behind him, the 24 of Austin Dillon, just behind that 51 of Kyle Busch. Very close call as they came onto pit, or the 32 came onto pit road.
Didn't look like the radio communication maybe made it to Kyle that Miguel Paludo was coming to pit road, and that was a tense moment for that young man.
And that's why NASCAR wants the spotters to listen to NASCAR, so they know that, okay, we've posted the 32, he will be coming to pit road, so the spotters can warn their drivers, hey, heads up now that 32 is coming for pit road and slowing down on the bottom of the racetrack.
As long as Paludo didn't make a mistake on pit road by speeding, as long as he did that procedure properly, this is not a death sentence for that truck. He's going to probably go a lap down, but he can get the free pass and get back in this game. It looked like early in the race he had a really fast truck, so we can see if he can fight back.
This is Brad Keselowski. We're riding along with Austin Dillon just in front of him in the core 24, and they're not happy. Jeff Hensley, they're the crew chief, talking with the NASCAR officials. They'll discuss it. They'll look over and over at the video. And right now, Miguel Paludo trying to stay out in front of and stay on the lead lap. Jeb Burton, your race leader, and Miguel Paludo at the tail end of the lead lap.
What about Jeb? He's been able to drive away from Justin Lofton. When we started covering this story on Paludo, Lofton was all over Jeb Burton, and now he's falling back. And it looks like the Ford truck, Hermie, has making some good tracks here.
Well, Michael, I talked to Jeb Burton in the garage this morning. The team is a little bit disappointed the way their last 3 or 4 races have gone. Not only the finishes, but how they performed. Jeb told me before they ever made a lap on the racetrack today, but they were going back to the basic setup principles, go back to the things that were working for them earlier this season, and it's worked so far. He's been up front in practice, obviously qualifying up front. In the first 7 or 8 laps of this race, very, very comfortable is Jeff Burton.
Jeff Burton trying to put the 32 of Miguel Paludo a lap down.
And remember, this is not uncharted territory for Jeff Burton. He won on a 1.5 miles at Texas earlier this year.
This is a truck we talked about all morning, Matt Crafton, and being really a truck that we liked the way it looked. It looked like when he'd get in traffic, he could handle well. And there he is fighting for that second spot.
Kyle was trying to get by the 24 of Austin Dillon, but Dillon with the momentum on the high side able to stay in front of him.
Don't you just love trucks? Don't you love this draft? The fact that these guys can pull up on one another. This is great racing.
Austin Dillon trying to hang on to that position as Kyle Busch was running a different line through the turns.
You're just not gonna, it's gonna be really difficult, Phil, if you think you're gonna drive away from the pack. You gotta be handling perfect and get a break to make a move like we've seen Jeff Burton make early, because look how these guys are bunched up, and Austin Dillon is making it work on the high side.
He's gonna dive in there behind his brother, Ty Dillon, in that 3 truck.
Austin Dillon able to make the pass on Matt Crafton. He used the high side to get by. Now Crafton has a little wiggle, goes up the track as the 51 of Kyle Busch was beneath him.
It almost looked like Crafton hit a bump or something like that, and that truck shot up the hill, really slowed his momentum.
Well, we liked the way the truck looked early. He was going for second spot, and all of a sudden things went bad. Looked like he got loose when he hit those bumps, got out of control, and heck, lost a spot in the top 5.
Now the race between Buescher and Crafton for the title. Buescher running in the 10th spot, Crafton running in the 6th position.
You hear Matt out of the throttle a lot longer than what we heard the trucks doing in practice today. They're still running some pretty fast.
And around goes the 99. Brian Silas in the 99 spins, bringing out caution number 1. And the first truck scored a lap down Miguel Paludo, so he will more than likely receive the free pass to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's great news for Miguel Paludo. Unfortunately for Brian Silas, but Miguel Paludo will get back on the lead lap and be able to restart his race. Lost a lot of track position, though. Obviously, he's going to start back in about the 29th spot.
We saw Jeff Hensley arguing with the NASCAR officials. They were reviewing the situation, but again, the penalty put Miguel Paludo back a lap. He'll get that back. A lot of the field made their way onto pit road under this first caution after 14 of the 150 laps complete in the EnjoyIllinois.com 225. The one that didn't come onto pit road, race leader Jeff Burton.
Yeah, you know, we talked about the pit window being somewhere between 50 and 55 laps. This race 150 laps. I think the strategy is to get enough fuel now so you can only make it on 2 more stops. You don't have to stop those 3 times. But this is what happens when you have guys coming in for fuel only. You have guys pulling in their pits and then guys pulling out of their pits before the trucks even get to their pits. So a lot of times you see people with some issues. Austin Dillon, that 24 blue and white truck right there, is going to have an issue when he tries to leave his pits. Max Gresham, the 8, will turn in. You see Austin has to stop, and then Max stops. Austin has to stop again, so Austin loses several more positions before he can get out.
And we saw pitting and strategy become a big part of the equation last week in Iowa. Remember James Buescher, he didn't come to pit road. He came to pit road, got gas, but no tires. Some of the guys didn't pit at all early on, and it wound up biting them. So this is a very important part of the race to understand what kind of ramifications it'll have on down the road for guys like Jeb Burton and Ty Dillon and Brendan Gaughan, who stayed out.
And Austin Dillon not only had issues on pit road, but when Miguel Paludo came onto pit road, take a look at what happens with the 51. He will move up the racetrack right in front of the 24. The 24 very close to running into the 51 of Kyle Busch. Yeah. And now look at from behind, looking back off the 51. This is how close it was.
This looks like a wreck, doesn't it?
Boom! Austin had to turn hard left to avoid Kyle Busch.
And that was how he was able to get in front of the 51.
Whoa, this doesn't look good.
And that can't be comfortable.
No, but it was a good athletic move to keep himself from getting hurt. He kind of laid up on that truck and was in control, and I think he's probably going to be fine.
Jeb Burton still in front of the field at Chicagoland. Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway. Getting ready for the green flag once again. Jeb Burton, Ty Dillon, Brendan Gaughan, and Joey Coulter all stayed on the track. A slew of others came on to pit road. Let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
Just wanted to update the number 19 for Brad Keselowski. He was a little bit free in. He said it wasn't really bad, but they decided to come down pit road on lap 13 to get a little fuel in there. That helps them get inside their window. I just asked his crew chief if they're okay. He said, really, really good. Brad's pretty happy. Hermie?
Well, Ray, the 88 of Matt Crafton, our points leader, came down pit road. His truck's a little bit tight, fuel only, and a little bit of wedge out. The 51 of Kyle Busch, he's the opposite. His truck was loose on entry to the corner, fuel only, and they made a track bar adjustment down on the right side to snug that truck up, Rick.
Thank you. And the 24 of Austin Dillon came on to pit road third. After his troubles on pit road, he comes back out. He'll restart in the 10th position. That's exactly where he started the race initially.
It took him 11 laps to go from that 10th starting spot to third.
Field once again all in line behind Jeb Burton and Ty Dillon. The way this race started. We'll see how the restart goes this time. Green flag back in the air.
Dillon didn't get a very good start the last time. See how he does this time. He's got a team truck behind him, so I don't think he'll push him 3 wide this early in the event. Just hang with him.
Now it's 2 by 2 and 3 wide back behind the top 3.
Matt Crafton, our point leader, in the middle. Brad Keselowski now jumps up to the outside behind Jeb Burton.
Trying to make that outside line work. Ty Dillon, your race leader, as they go into 3. Here comes Jeb Burton on the outside, trying to take the lead back.
Good move by Burton. He makes it work on the outside, and look at the run Keselowski has. He's going to go for that second spot.
Trying to make that high line work as well as he settles into the 3rd position. Now looking to the inside, but Ty Dillon closing the door.
I was talking to some of the guys down in the garage here, and they said the thing about the Ford truck, he gets down the straightaway, but he was really good in the corners when they were looking at the Dartfish, which is like a ghost truck. They overlap each lap, and they said Jeb was really, really good in the corners.
Top 4 single file. Jeb Burton, Ty Dillon, Keselowski, and Gaughan.
Remember when he sat on the pole at Michigan, a track that races a lot like Chicago, he was able to hold that lead for a lot of the race.
How about 3 wide? Kyle Busch to the inside, and Joey Coulter, his team truck, to the outside.
Joey's going to hold that spot. Kyle moved back up in line.
Comes Austin Dillon again, that blue and white number 24 on the inside. Remember, he restarted back around the 10th spot.
Here comes the 29 once again. Ryan Blaney was the truck that those two split earlier. Now 3 wide from the apron. Blaney takes the spot back away from Kyle Busch.
What a move by Blaney. Used all the track, all the real estate out there to make a pass. And he's going to make it stick on the bottom.
All the track and then some, making the apron work for him on that pass.
Ryan Blaney was just here back in July to run the ARCA Racing Series event. Had a great car that day. Little pitch strategy got him off sync. They didn't get to victory lane, but he had the dominant car.
And now tonight it looks like the dominant truck is Jeb Burton. He's been out front all 22 laps that have been completed. Ty Dillon holding on to 2nd now. Brad Keselowski has moved up to 3rd. Brendan Gaughan in 4th.
This is a good truck Brad's racing, Phil. We've not seen him get to victory lane, but he might have the best truck here tonight. Already moved up to the 3rd spot.
And has about 14 laps cushion of fuel over these 2 trucks in front of him.
And fast. Look at this move.
It looks like the defending Cup Series champion had a little bit of a run on Ty Dillon. Now falling back as they get into turn number 1. That momentum, though, back again as he looks to the inside of the 3 of Ty Dillon.
He was really able to drive that truck deep down in the corner. We saw him gain all the ground on Ty getting in the corner.
That's a cool shot, isn't it? Showing what it looks like from Brad's view, looking at the back of that 3 truck of Ty Dillon.
And being able to hear that he doesn't ever get out of the gas.
Exactly. I think this NASCAR marketing thing works. I kind of want to go fishing. Big old bass on the side of that 3 truck.
Jeb Burton trying to stay in front of Ty Dillon and Brad Keselowski.
We talked during practice how the tires historically have fallen off at this racetrack. We've got really cool temperatures tonight, really unseasonably cool here for this race, and they just ran the fastest lap of the race that last lap with 24 laps on the tires.
Look at Brad. He's made it to the outside of Ty. Gonna make that move.
Seen before that the outside line has been working, and Brad Keselowski takes second away from Ty Dillon. Keeping that momentum up, running a little bit higher around the racetrack. Brad Keselowski now sets his sights on race leader Jeb Burton.
While Brad's making this progress, let's just note Kyle Busch started 7th. He's running 7th on lap 26. Not a lot of progress yet, but we saw him make an amazing recovery at Bristol to race up and win that race. And be interesting to note whether he's able to pull that off again.
Michael, he was on the verge of going a lap down at Bristol. He was within, what, 8-10 truck lengths from going a lap down, and he ends up in victory lane.
Let's go to LA, Rick.
I think that's a great idea. Let's get an update from our Fox Sports studios. We head out to Los Angeles and hear from Julie Stewart-Bates. The temperature in Chicago may be cooling off, but this battle for the lead is heating up. Jeb Burton in front of Brad Keselowski. He's closed the gap.
Working that high side, Rick, using the momentum of running up high to try to make a run off the corner, and he just keeps inching up closer and closer. But Jeb's strong down on the bottom. Brad can't quite get there, but you know, he worked over Ty Dillon the same way, and eventually he just wore him down and grabbed that spot away. And watch this run, that draft, pulling up on the back of that Ford truck as they go down the front straightaway. That's impressive.
And guys, remember how good that Ford truck was at Michigan. He led 41 laps, but got in some dirty air, lost that lead, got out of the clean air, and ended up finishing 10th. So he struggled a little bit once he got behind some trucks.
Yeah, we suspected that could be the case because he had that thing trimmed out. It was probably going to get loose in traffic, and that's what happened. But he's out in front right now, but Brad's going to get him.
Michael, you chatted with him before the green flag flew, how hungry he is for not only his sponsors, but also his family. They've been involved in the Truck Series almost since its inception.
Yeah, it's a great story. Dad, family's been a part of this sport for forever.
His dad won a truck race at Richmond back in the early days of the Truck Series.
Here's the move.
Bob and Kay very instrumental in the Truck Series growth, and here comes Brad Keselowski trying to take the top spot away from Jeb Burton. Down to the apron he goes to try to take the lead. Here comes Burton back.
He was leading, but he didn't lead at the line. Jeb Burton still led at the line.
That's got to feel good for Brad. This is a strong truck. But I love that kid leading, man. Jeb's just come on the scene, and he's proven that he can wheel a car. His dad won the Daytona 500 back in 2002.
His uncle has shown so much success in the sport.
And he doesn't get rattled. That didn't rattle him. Brad up there trying to pass him.
Still holding on to that top spot. Continuing to click laps off. He has been the only one out front when they cross the finish line. Jeb Burton has led 35 laps of the 35 we've run.
And you see what he's doing now. He felt Brad moving up, seeing that it was working for Brad. He thought, I might ought to give that a try. And that's versatility. That's just using all your talents to try to hold the lead. That's how important the lead is. We don't want to give this baby up. These races are short. They're not 500 miles. They're only a couple hundred. You better get it done in a hurry.
Trying to determine fourth on the right side of your screen. That's Ryan Blaney in the 29, blue 29, and just behind him, Kyle Busch in the yellow 51. Brad Keselowski continuing to run in the tire tracks of that 4 of Jeb Burton, Ray.
He just came on the radio and reminded his crew chief, Chad Kendrick, he said, I'm trying to take care of the right front. I've got to keep the big picture in mind here. I'd love to lead, but I don't want to push it too hard. Hermie?
Well, Ray, our points leader, Matt Crafton, he pitted on lap 13 with a tight truck. They came in fuel only, made a little bit of a wedge adjustment. When they've gone too far the other way. This truck very, very loose for Matt Crafton. He's falling back right now in 10th and losing ground to the leaders.
And he was just passed by his closest pursuer in the points. James Busher just passed him a few moments ago to move James up to 9th.
And he's seen that a lot lately.
He has.
James has been strong. 2 out of the last 4. He's won 4 top 10s in a row. And I think James has got a truck he's going to drive through that top 10 with tonight. So Matt's feeling the pressure for sure. And watching James drive around him certainly didn't make him feel any better.
Still plenty of racing to go in this one. We've got over 110 laps remaining in this race. And we still have at least 2 more stops. So they're going to be able to adjust on these trucks, put a new set of tires on, change the handling.
Remember, though, for Jeb Burton, he did not come down pit road when that caution flag flew, so he could probably only go another 12, 14 laps tops, because, again, they didn't top these trucks off after qualifying, so he has qualifying plus the pace laps in addition to the laps that he's run since they dropped the green flag.
Kyle Busch trying that apron.
Looked like maybe Ryan Blaney said, go ahead, bud. I'm not going to contest that position too hard right now. Maybe an adjustment on my truck. But on the other hand, look at Jeb Burton. He's wandering all over the place trying to break the draft, doing all he can to hold Brad Keselowski off.
Now another good run by Brad Keselowski. Looking to the inside of the 4 of Jeb Burton. Burton closing the door once again as they cross in front of the grandstands.
That Ford truck goes down the straigaway, it looks like that.
It does. That honcho on the back gets smaller. And I know that's probably getting Brad's attention, because he closes right in on the turn. You would think you could draft up on the straightaway, but watch. He's able to drive away.
And Jeb Burton continues to be the head honcho here at Chicagoland Speedway.
Very nice. Very nice.
Brad Keselowski chasing, though, holding on to the 2nd spot. Ty Dillon, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, your top 5 under the lights at Chicagoland Speedway. And the 18 seems to be slow on the track. Joey Coulter trying to make his way back to pit road. When they weave back and forth like that, they're normally trying to get fuel into the pickup.
Remember, he's one of the trucks that elected not to come down pit road when the caution flag came out, and that's going to bring the caution flag out.
So the caution comes out.
Probably because of that.
Yep, smoke coming out of the back of the 10 of Jennifer Jo Cobb.
It's a huge break for Jeb Burton, Ty Dillon, and Brendan Gaughan. Unfortunate for Joey Coulter.
And Jennifer Jo Cobb.
Very unfortunate.
So the 2nd caution comes out.
Uh-oh, maybe some oil on the track, Phil?
Yeah, Justin Jennings has obviously gotten to the fence for that 63 truck.
While we were away before the caution came out, Brad Keselowski actually took the lead away from Jeb Burton. He was able to make the pass after those two had been dueling for numerous laps.
Here's Coulter trying to make it to his pit, not under power.
Cruising all the way to his pit stall as he makes his way in. They'll pack it full of fuel. Looks like they're going to change tires on that one as well.
I believe I'd get a little gas in him and get him out of there.
Say we'll get a penalty as well. Have to restart from the tail of the longest line, because he will have pitted too soon before pit road opened.
Pit road is closed immediately when the caution comes out.
That's a great break for a couple of guys that were running up front needing some gas. They're in the same pit cycle as Joey Coulter, and that would be Jeb Burton and Ty Dillon. They needed some fuel, and they're going to be able to get it now.
This is how Brad Keselowski took the top spot away from Jeb Burton.
We talked about Jeb going up top to try to defend the advances that Keselowski was making on him up there, and Brad just said, well, heck, I'll go the other way then.
Well, this caution flag is going to fall just about the right time. They're going to pit somewhere around lap 49, which means they technically could make it on one more stop if the caution flag were to fall at the right time, or they could stop under green around the lap 100 mark.
Fresher tires toward the end of the race will always be welcomed from these drivers. Once again, Keselowski, your race leader. Jeb Burton, who hadn't come to pit road yet, running in 2nd. Kyle Busch has made his way up to 3rd. Ty Dillon 4th. And Ryan Blaney, your top 5.
You could see Dillon and Gaughan down on the apron of the racetrack. They wanted to make sure their fuel didn't get away from the pickup and run out under this caution. So they were able to accomplish that and get to pit road. So it was time for this to happen.
And the field making their way onto pit road, right?
Big debate today, Rick, from all of the drivers in the garage area. Can you go with a 2-tire stop? Well, Brad Keselowski and his crew chief decided it's not worth it right now. They had a great truck. They were leading. They had really good balance. They'll put a little tape on the front of the nose. They'll hang 4 tires and give it Sunoco fuel. Hermie?
51 of Kyle Busch hits his pit box a little bit tight on the racetrack. They'll put 4 tires, make an air pressure adjustment on the 51 to 3. With Ty Dillon, he's been tight since we started. 4 tires, air pressure as well, the 4. Then once that first run came to the fence, running in 2nd, having a difficult time getting it off the jack. The 4 loses a lot of spots, leaving pit road.
Yeah, he came on to pit road 2nd and is going to leave the 6th truck off of pit road.
Phil, you touched on it early. Remember what happened to him in Michigan? Sat on the pole, had a fast truck, led, but then when he got back in traffic, his truck went to pieces. Now he's back in traffic.
Couldn't get the jack to drop there. They wanted him to go, but the jack wouldn't go down. So Jeff Burton will restart 6. Keselowski wins the race off of pit road for fresh tires on that number 19. Welcome back. Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch, the 2 Cup superstars, make up row number 1 for the restart here from Chicagoland Speedway.
That's good stuff, huh? A couple of Cup stars battling for the truck win, but they're going to get heated up by Ty Dillon and Brendan Gaughan on row 2.
You know, some of that is they have experience getting to pit road. Obviously, the tire changers have to be fast, but those guys know how to get into pit road, get off of pit road.
7 starts in the 2013 season for Kyle Busch, and 3 of those ended up in victory lane. This record not nearly as good as his nationwide record.
He got involved in an accident in Kansas and finished 27th. Otherwise, 3rd's the worst he's finished this year.
Pretty impressive.
Is that Kenny Wallace we're riding along with there? There's Kyle down on the inside of the front row. It would be interesting to see if Ty Dillon can make a run on Kyle going down the front straightaway. They're not teammates. Obviously, Ty's all about leading laps and winning the race, trying to maximize all the points he can to get this championship. So Ty could get aggressive here.
Matt Crafton back there in the 4th row on the inside, that 88. He's your points leader, looking to win his first championship in the Truck Series. He's been consistent. Top 10 finishes to start the season. How's he doing now? We'll find out. Green flag back in the air. Great restart for both the 51 of Kyle Busch and the 19 of Brad Keselowski.
How about James Buescher jumps to the outside of his teammate Jeb Burton to make it 3 wide.
Takes
James Buescher, that black and red truck, number 31.
Kyle made that inside work and was able to grab the lead away from Keselowski. Ty Dillon just hasn't had the speed on the restarts that we're accustomed to seeing out of him. Remember on the initial start, he lost ground, and the second one, and now again.
How about Matt Crafton on the yellow truck on the inside of the 88, moving back, dropping back positions.
Losing spots, falling out of the top 10 here shortly as Austin Dillon was able to get by him.
And the biggest concern for Crafton is the other trucks that are advancing ahead of him, namely James Buescher making some strong runs up toward the front.
Once again, a battle for the lead. Brad Keselowski in the 19 on the inside, looking to get by the 51 of Kyle Busch. A good run at the bottom of the racetrack. Down to the apron goes the 19. Keselowski trying to take the lead away.
Great side-by-side battle for first. How about the 29 and Ryan Blaney, teammate to Brad Keselowski, and Brendan Gaughan, the 62, running side-by-side.
Blaney able to take that 3rd spot away from Brendan Gaughan. Now the 2 continue to battle for the lead.
Remember, we talked about Blaney running that ARCA race here a couple months ago. He's never been here in any other vehicle other than that ARCA car.
He's making his truck work as he runs right behind the 2 battling for the lead. Keselowski moved up the track, trying to get a better entry into the turn, and got very close to Kyle Busch.
What about Brendan? He's whipped it up to the outside and looks like he's going to get beside Blaney. 2 by 2 for the lead.
While they continue to run side by side up front for the lead, that opens up the door behind them as the field continues to line up. Now it's Blaney again up into the 3rd spot. Gaughan drops back to 2nd. The battle for the lead continues. Kyle Busch leads that lap.
What a great battle for the lead here. These guys going at it hard, side by side. How about James Buescher now? They've moved his way up into the top 5 in that black and red number 31.
Can't count out the 3 of Ty Dillon. He's right behind him.
You know, sometimes, Phil, when 2 guys run side by side like this, I just wait for them to spin out. I have so much confidence in those 2 cats. They're doing something that is very difficult to do without causing someone a problem. And they're doing it lap after lap. That just shows you the talent. And look who's breathing down their neck, a kid, Ryan Blaney, and James Buescher, last year's champion. This is good stuff.
Ryan Blaney just 19 years old. He's in the 29, just behind those 2 fighting for the lead. They continue to be side by side. Keselowski on the inside in the 19. On the outside, Kyle Busch in the 51. Door to door, averaging over 174 miles an hour on this 1.5 miles.
Wow.
And guys, James Busher just came on the radio and said, guys, this is so much fun running side by side like this. On the first round of pit stops on lap 13, he was really loose, so they dropped the track bar down a little bit. He said it made it better, but he said in the second run, his truck was fairly unpredictable. So far, though, in this run, he said he's having a ball out there.
Well, I'm having a ball up here, Ray. This is great stuff.
Whoa, there the 19 gets loose again. Almost gets into the 51. Here comes Blaney now to take his place.
Look at the momentum that the 19 of Brad Keselowski lost.
The turn before that, Keselowski got a little bit sideways, never checked up, was able to stay on the inside of that 51, but this most recent one moved him right up the track.
I just didn't see, I couldn't see how they could continue to run lap after lap like that. And watch what happened. Finally, down into the corner, he's on the inside of Kyle. Kyle's right on his outside, and he gets loose.
Just no air in between those trucks. Kyle really had him pinched down there, very, very close to him, and that just accentuates that situation.
Hurt him have to get out of the gas to be able to save that, catches it. But when he did get out of the gas, he lost all that momentum, and trucks were able to freight train beside him.
Ooh, look at there, Ryan Blaney to the lead. He did something his boss couldn't do.
Blaney completes the pass, goes by the 51, and now here comes James Busher. Busher in the 31, trying to make the pass as well on Kyle Busch.
What an outstanding job by that 29 of Ryan Blaney.
Of Brad Keselowski. They've gotten a little bit too high and scraped up against the wall. You see Ty Dillon in the 3, not giving him a lot of room, and sure enough, that 19 got loose again.
Watch, we're going to hear him get out of the throttle when he gets squeezed up.
That's a heck of a 2 or 3 laps for that 29 truck, isn't it? Excuse me, the 19 truck.
Sure enough.
Brad Keselowski.
How about James Busher taking second away from Kyle Busch? So now Busher, who's had the momentum the past 4 races, moves up to the 2nd spot. We see Darrell Wallace Jr. on the left side of your screen. He's on pit road.
Yeah, without a doubt, unscheduled pit stop for that Toyota for Darrell Wallace Jr. He's running in the 12th spot when he hit pit road.
He doesn't look like
potentially something, as they're going to go to the right side to change the tires on the 54. And an adjustment.
Obviously something Bubba felt with that truck, brought him to pit road.
Here comes Kyle Busch on the right side of your screen, trying to take second back away from Busher.
Good run off the corner for Kyle in that yellow Dollar General truck. Takes the 2nd spot back. Keselowski now trying to make his way back up towards the front. He just now has moved back up into the top 5, getting by the 4 of Jeb Burton.
You have to be persistent in NASCAR. He was racing for the lead, about crash, got run into the wall off 4, but yet he's still racing hard and is back into the top 5.
He's back in that 5th spot. Will set his sights on the 3 of Ty Dillon.
Look how close this battle is for the lead. 4 trucks, nose to tail.
Now, does he have ill feelings towards Ty Dillon? Did Ty Dillon push him up the track too far when he got into the wall?
I would say he's a little bit concerned about how that happened off turn 4. But you got to put that behind you.
Well, that'll be the next truck he gets to.
Well, he's got to put him behind him then. When he gets there, you just got to go. We're going to win this race. We can't be worried about Ty Dillon right now.
Herbie Sadler.
2 quick updates to 54. We saw him on pit road. Darrell Wallace Jr., he radioed that he thought he had a tire going down. They came in, put 4 tires. They are checking the tires as we speak. The 54 back down on the racetrack. The 51 of Kyle Busch, he moved back. He's got some trash on the grill. He's trying to remove off the front grill that 51, so he'll get right up underneath the back of that 29 to try to get that debris off the grill.
He might have got it off, Hermie, because he's starting to think about getting around the 29 and making that pass. And look, coming on the left, on the right of the screen, that's Keselowski back up beside Ty Dillon.
Now racing for the 4th spot. That 19 brought tight 4 to Brad Keselowski. Works to the inside of the 3. Let's see if he can complete the pass.
This is NASCAR racing like it ought to be. Side by side for the lead. All these trucks tied together.
Contact there. Kyle Busch gets into the left rear quarter panel of 29. They both go down to the apron. Kyle Busch takes the lead.
Yeah, I think Kyle Busch dropped behind just long enough to get the trash off his grill, but Ryan Blaney doesn't care. He's going back after the lead, getting sideways off the corner.
I don't think Ryan liked the way that pass went down. He chased Kyle down to the apron to try to hold beside him, but just couldn't quite make it happen.
The BKR trucks nose to tail on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Brad Keselowski, and now the caution has come out.
Wow, what great racing.
Mike Harmon in the 84, we saw him smoking on the apron. It sounds as though there might be some fluid out on the track. And so NASCAR has thrown the caution flag for the 3rd time tonight.
It will be about 20 laps since these guys pitted. Again, about 50 to 55 is their pit window. They know they're all going to have to stop at least one more time, more than likely one more time around the lap 100 mark. If they stop now, they're still going to have to stop again, but it's going to buy them a little bit of insurance on fuel.
You see a very shiny right rear tire there for Mike Harmon. Maybe a little fluid coming out of that truck. This was the pass that Kyle Busch put on the 29. Look at the contact.
And watch, usually you see a guy go to the bottom and the leader just, or the other truck lets him go. But Ryan said, darn it, I'm going to chase you down there and try to pin my truck to the right rear corner of yours, but just couldn't quite get there.
And I think Ryan's saying there was no need for him to go straight. That was a part of the racetrack where they should have been driving down towards the bottom of the racetrack. And I think he felt like there was no need for Kyle to have gone straight and made that contact.
Some of the crews up on the wall.
Pit road is open.
Pit road's open, and we're seeing a few takers make their way the hard left onto pit road, 45 miles per hour. Ray Dunlap.
Ryan Blaney, the first on my end of pit road to come in. They felt they were not right in their window, so why not take a chance and get some fuel here? They'll put 5 seconds in. He's back to the racetrack. How about your end, Hermie?
With the 3 of Ty Dillon's coming down pit road, they're calling for a track bar adjustment on that 3. They're also going to put some tires on him as well, try to get this truck better. The 4 truck of Jeff Burton also on pit road. He's coming down 4 tires well on the 4 and an air pressure adjustment.
NASCAR gave these teams a lot of tires. They gave them 6 sets of tires for the weekend. They used 1 up in practice, had to turn that in. So they had 5 full sets of tires for this race, 1 on the truck, 4 on pit road.
That time to Jack Burton for the 4. He's off the pit road cleanly.
I'd say that last jack didn't work. I think that was a new one.
Yeah, they may have changed.
That one got bent, I think.
Matt Crafton had fallen out of the top 10 before that caution flag came out.
Austin Dillon in the 24, Ty Dillon in the 3. Wait a minute.
Brother, I believe I'm going to need that space.
That's not treating your brother very nice, running me into the grass. We'll be back for the green flag. Welcome back to Chicagoland. 4 different drivers have been out in front of the field at the EnjoyIllinois.com 225. Now it's Kyle Busch's turn out front. His teammate, though, has been on pit road a few different times, Hermie.
Yeah, Rick, and the 54 has some catching up to do. Pitted under green, radio to his crew. He thought he had a tire going down. He came in, took 4 tires under green. The air in all 4 of those tires that took off was still correct, so no flat tire. But this 54 has some ground to make up under green now. Ray?
Austin Dillon hasn't made much progress recently. He said on the radio he's a tick snug, especially over the bumps. They've been in and out on pit road a couple of times here. He said, we'll just keep on working on this thing a little bit at a time. He did pit this last time on 69, and they did put tires on that Core 24 Chevrolet.
Remember earlier when we saw Miguel Pluto on the start of the race?
Really early.
Make a move that cost him a lap and a trip to pit road, and we said that wasn't a death sentence for this team. How's it working out now?
How about 5th?
Nice.
Running in the 5th spot as we're getting ready for the restart. Green flag back in the air.
Top 5 trucks stayed on the racetrack. Elected not to pit.
We saw Kyle on the bottom grab the lead from Brad. Now Kyle chooses the top on the restart, and Brad's trying to grab it back.
Kyle's going to have some momentum on the high side. He has Brendan Gaughan lined up behind him, pushing.
A big push from Brendan gave Kyle the momentum he needed to go into turn 3 with the lead.
Here comes the 19 once again, running in the 2nd spot. Brendan Gaughan in the 62 runs 3rd. And teammate to Brad Keselowski in the 29, Ryan Blaney running in that 4th spot. Three wide behind him.
Nice move by Timothy Peters. Got a good run coming off turn number 4. Made it 3 wide. Made that pass on Paluto and Hornaday in the 9.
What a great move that was.
Keselowski still chasing the 51. Kyle Busch, the Dollar General 51 leading.
This
2 and 3 wide behind him once again. Ron Kuroga in the 77 at net 10.77. And turn 4, we've got a caution. The 92. Damage to the back of that truck of Scott Riggs.
And the front.
Looks like Scott might have lost the right front tire. CarQuest came on board that Ricky Benton truck as a sponsor for this race and a few more, but looks pretty bad for Scott right now. And I think he's doing the smart thing. As much damage as there is to that right front of the thing, it'll just do more damage trying to drive it around to the garage area.
Coming up on the halfway point of the 150 lap race, and there was the contact.
Yeah, it wasn't a tire. It was contact that turned him into that outside wall.
A lot of damage to the 92 of Scott Riggs under caution for the 4th time tonight. Welcome back under our 4th caution from Chicagoland for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. The 92 of Scott Riggs being towed back into the garage area after contact with the outside wall, bringing out the caution. Had a little help. There was another truck involved that turned that 92 into the wall. So extensive damage to the right front of that truck. And that means that Scott Riggs had to have it towed into the garage area. Now, earlier today, the continuation of an unbelievable week of stories in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. President Mike Helton and Chairman and CEO Brian France had a press conference where they announced that Front Row Motorsports and Penske Racing will be placed on probation for the remainder of the 2013 season. They also made the announcement that there will be a 13th driver added to the chase. Jeff Gordon will become another driver eligible for the championship in 2013. Here's what he had to say in the media room.
I'm very appreciative, very thankful to be in, and I know it's under the most unbelievable circumstances I've ever been a part of in my racing career, and I wish that all this hadn't happened. I wish that we could have just raced for it on Saturday night, but that wasn't the case, and now here we are as a 13th car and now we just try to take that opportunity and make the most of it.
NASCAR's version of the playoffs, and they've added a team to that playoff in the 24 of Jeff Gordon. Here's the point standings as they get ready for the first race of the chase, which is coming here on Sunday from Chicagoland Speedway. Matt Kenseth with 5 wins on the 2013 season gets those bonus points, and we'll start with 2015. Everyone will chase Matt Kenseth through these 10 races, at least to start here in Chicagoland. Jimmy Johnson going for his unprecedented 6th championship. 5 of them came in a row, and now just 3 points back of Kenseth to start the chase for the Sprint Cup championship. Under our 4th caution from Chicagoland Speedway, and this caution period extended just a little bit longer, right, Hermie?
You're right, Rick. In the 51 of Kyle Busch came to pit road for an unscheduled pit stop, but under the direction of NASCAR. You'll see the footage. Kyle Busch comes to pit road. What they're doing is a transponder issue. All these trucks have a transponder that is basically bolted to the right side of the fuel cell under these trucks that keeps up with their position on the racetrack, all the timing loops. NASCAR has to have this correctly to keep up with positions on the racetrack. They had a malfunction with that piece of equipment. They came down, changed the transponder, sent the 51 back on the racetrack, Rick, but they were instructed to only change the transponder. Do not touch this truck, and certainly do not put any fuel in it.
NASCAR told them that they could come to pit road. They had to come to pit road to change that transponder, and they would be able to hold their spot. So that's why they weren't able to do anything else to that truck on pit road, because they were told they were going to be able to keep their spot up front.
Here's our free pass recipient right here, Bubba Wallace, that will put Bubba back on the lead lap. Nothing to lose. He will have to restart at the tail, so might as well come in and work on the thing a little bit.
They did work on it a lot. You saw changing the wedge in the truck in the back and adding a little bit of gas. So We saw Bubba have to make a green flag pit stop, got a lap down. He's been lucky enough to get the free pass and back in the game. We saw how quickly things can change. Miguel Paludo was up in the top 5 on that last restart. He settles in the 8th spot now, but he overcame a penalty and a problem, and he's in contention.
I think a truck that needs to be looked at and where he's running is our points leader, Matt Crafton, back in the 18th spot for this restart.
And James Busher, his closest pursuer, up in the 6th position. So Matt Crafton fell off a little bit on this most recent run. He did pit on lap 69, which was the most recent caution prior to this one.
Pace truck off the field once again and onto pit road, and bringing the field to the green flag. That 51 of Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski once again door to door as they take the green.
I believe they were side by side when that caution flag came out, weren't they?
Yeah, we know how serious Brad is about grabbing this lead and how hard he drives down on the bottom of the track. You know, interestingly enough, Phil, on that last restart before this one, when Kyle was on the bottom, he was able to pass Brad down there, but Brad's not able to do that.
Kyle Busch on the outside, which is always going to have the advantage as they come through this turn. Back in front of the grandstands is Kyle Busch in front of Brad Keselowski, then teammate Ryan Blaney in the 29 just behind Brad.
See, the Dillon boys are lined up on the outside, the blue and white, 24, and Ty in the pink or orange and black, number 3. Fluorescent orange, I should say.
Look at that battle.
The 62 of Brendan Gaughan trying to make the move on the 24 of Austin Dillon.
Gaughan's been right up front all night long, and this is something we're used to seeing. Side by side for the lead. Brad down on the apron trying to make the move.
That time Keselowski had the advantage by 21 one-thousandths of a second when they crossed the stripe. And here comes Kyle Busch to the outside once again, trying to fight back and take the lead back.
He's going to hang out there.
Brad ran the fastest lap that anyone has run this entire race, that last lap.
30.764 seconds. And now his teammate coming up behind him, Ryan Blaney, trying to get into the mix.
He said, "You need a push, bud. I'm here."
Down to the apron they go. Brad Keselowski and Ryan Blaney on the apron. Keselowski still has the advantage. Here comes Blaney trying to take second away from Kyle Busch.
Now, Blaney's going to have to be careful. We saw the masterful job his owner did. That experience that Brad has racing these races week in and week out in a cup car. Ryan doesn't have that experience, but wow, he has the determination. He's going to make that pass.
Quiroga, the 77, slow into turn 3.
Looks like he's a little bit loose as well.
That's Ben Kennedy in the 30 truck driving around, and Darrell Wallace Jr. as well. Dakota Armstrong, all of them dealing with Quiroga. I think he had a moment.
Look back on the right side. Again, we're looking at the 77 of Ramon Quiroga.
He's on the inside of the Ford Jeb Burton, and he's about 20 degrees sideways there.
That's a moment.
Just does a nice job corralling that truck.
Went up the racetrack. That's what Kenny Wallace had to see in the 81.
Kenny drives up there into the top 20.
Now BKR running 1 and 2 again. We saw this in Iowa a week ago.
Yeah, these trucks have surfaced out here lately as being the fastest trucks on the track.
And remember what Brad told you at the start of the show. Ross Chastain was making them look bad running so well in that truck.
Looks like a little maybe tire rub out of the 29. Let's ride along with Kyle Busch and look up at that 29, see if you can see the smoke. Was a little bit of smoke coming out of the 29 earlier. Might be tire smoke.
It's okay that time, I thought.
As hard as these guys are going at it, something better be smoking.
Both Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch ran their fastest lap of the race, the last lap.
I just think maybe that Blaney truck's the fastest one of the 3. He didn't have to work near as hard to get around Kyle Busch as his owner did. And
both times.
Now, yeah, that's right. Now he's sucked right up on the back of Brad. So this is good stuff.
Brad Keselowski in front of the field. Has never won in the Camping World Truck Series.
That young man driving his team truck has been to victory lane twice, last year and this year.
Kyle Busch running third has won numerous times in the Camping World Truck Series.
I love what Brad said about his young driver. He said he's surprised somebody hadn't swiped him from me. He's that good. And I think everybody's looking right now saying you might be onto something there, Brad.
Brad Keselowski leading at Chicagoland. Can he finish the deal and get to victory lane for the first time in the trucks? Tonight, join the Fox Sports Live crew as they bring you all the scores, news, and highlights you're going to need. Catch Fox Sports Live tonight right after the race, right here on Fox Sports 1. They may even talk about Kenny Wallace making his 899th start in NASCAR.
That's an amazing accomplishment. That's from a man that just worked hard throughout his whole career to show up every Saturday afternoon in the Nationwide Series, and even had a good Cup career as well. Just wanted to race a car and figured out a way to do it for a long time. That story sounds a little familiar.
Yeah. Going to be 900 tomorrow in the Nationwide race for Kenny.
You just got to really respect Kenny's passion, his desire to be here, his desire to race. Heck, he's a dirt racer now, guys. He doesn't come to the NASCAR races and race every weekend. That doesn't mean he isn't racing every weekend. He's a really accomplished, winning dirt racer all throughout the country.
One thing, that truck right there, those two trucks right there are going to be doing is racing to pit road here shortly. Remember, they pitted last on lap 49. They're getting very, very close to their window to come down pit road.
I bet you Brad's thinking, I got to win one of these races, and that guy behind me is going to make it really hard.
And he's looking to the inside to try to take the lead away now. Here comes Kyle Busch in the 51. The Dollar General truck has been extremely strong all night, but so has the draw tight 19 of Brad Keselowski.
2.5 back.
And inside that window now with 53 laps to go.
Channel
we know
2,
that
spotter,
windows.
you keep talking to him, just so you know, we got pit in about 4 laps.
I think that's Chad Kendrick, crew chief for Brad Keselowski, saying we're going to pit in 4 laps. That'll probably give him a little bit of insurance in the event we have a green-white checker.
Keselowski running a little bit higher line. That puts the 51 just a little bit higher to try to run to his outside.
Higher yet.
Almost 2 back now.
And Brad's on that same strategy. He last pitted on 49 also, so Kyle's going to be coming in about the same time, as well as Buscher and Brendan Gaughan.
And while these two that are racing for the lead come to pit road, that leaves Ryan Blaney out on the racetrack. He stopped 20 laps later on lap 69. So he's got a 20-lap cushion.
That's going to give him some flexibility to figure out how long he wants to run before he gets those tires, and if tires will indeed be having fresher tires at the end, if they think that's enough of advantage to run longer.
Does anyone chance it on pit road and go with 2 tires? Maybe a little pit strategy to see if they can get that track position.
You know, Phil, I don't think so, because they've got so far to go.
They have to put so much fuel in.
Right. And plus the left sides are going to
caution.
And the caution comes out. Timothy Peters in the 17, hard into the wall. A lot of damage to that truck.
What a tough break for Timothy. See some rubber off that right rear tire. It could have come after the fact, though.
Yeah, that's a mess.
That was a hard hit there.
And a hard left turn.
All 4
behind the wall.
Up on it.
Yeah, into the garage area for Timothy Peters.
And that will put everybody, I think, in their pit window to come down under this caution flag and have enough to go to the end.
It's just going to be a race now. No strategy. Everybody comes down. I think get 4 tires, Phil.
Yes, absolutely.
And race it to the checker.
Timothy Peters running for a championship. The Camping World Truck Series. Coming into this race, Peters was in the 5th spot. 74 points back. We see him out of the truck now, taking the helmet off.
Matt Crafton right now, we documented the fact he was back in what, 16th, 18th position after that restart. He has made his way up into the top 10 right now.
You don't think he's going to finish in the top 10, do you?
He has done that fairly well.
Only 15 times already this year has he finished in the top 10.
Out of 15 tries, by the way.
Out of 15 tries. Here's the incident with the 17.
Oh, we've seen this movie before.
Yep, little contact there.
He's going to get squeezed into the outside wall here. He's going to.
No, he did the squeezing.
Yep. Squeezing.
He did the squeezing, and that looks just like the crash he had down at Rockingham.
That was the 39 of Ryan Sieg. I believe that he was on the outs, or he was on the inside of that 39.
Looked like possibly he thought he had the 39 of Ryan cleared and was going to move up the racetrack. And
it looked exactly like that, Phil. And we saw from the angle, the first shot, that he just wasn't there.
See all the damage to that Parts Plus Toyota, and it shows how fast we really are going here at this racetrack. looks like NASCAR is going to bring all these trucks down pit road to give them an opportunity to clean the racetrack there on the front straightaway.
Yeah, pit road not actually open, so that's why you're not seeing any of the trucks make the hard left turn into their pits. They're just bringing them onto pit road so they stay off of any debris that was left on the track by the 39 or the 17.
39 looks like he got
Pretty
out of
clean
that
on the right
mess.
side.
Okay, they're going to stop, and they'll accept a penalty if they stop, and they're fine with that. They just have to feel like they got to change tires.
I think Keselowski and Kyle Busch and some of the other trucks that pitted on lap number 49 have to be cognizant about that fuel running away from the pickup. We saw what happened to Ryan Blaney last week at Iowa, was in position maybe to win again at Iowa, and it coughed just a little bit during the caution flag late in the race. You see Brad Keselowski realizes that he's down on the flat right now to make sure he keeps fuel over in that pickup, which is in the right rear corner on these vehicles. James Bush are doing the same thing.
Pit road's closed. You say, well, how did Ryan Sieg pit? Well, you can pit, but you're penalized for doing so. He'll have to start at the back of the field.
They don't want to give up track position. Once everyone is in the proper position, in the order that they're supposed to be in, behind the pace truck, then they will open pit road.
Yeah, they're in that order now. They're just waiting for the officials to clean off the front straightaway.
Right there. You see the fluid that was laid down by the 17 of Timothy Peters. So the crew going to work to try to clean that up.
Creeping into the last third of this race. Been a very entertaining match, I'll tell you that. A lot of lead changes, a lot of side-by-side racing. And Phil, as you well know, and we've seen it time and time again in the Truck Series, the more laps that pass by, the more the intensity goes up, and those side-by-side and three-wide passes become more and more dramatic.
And the restarts are going to become more dramatic, quite potentially.
So while the track continues to clean up the front stretch from what took place between the 39 and 17, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back for pit stops here on the Fox Sports 1. Pit road opened and the race on and off pit road was on. They made their way onto pit road. Out in front of the field was the 19 of Brad Keselowski. He didn't win the race off of pit road. Ryan Blaney on the bottom of your screen.
Solid pit work by Kyle Busch's team. Got him out just in front of the 19 of Brad Keselowski.
Look at this pit stop for Ryan Blaney, down around 14 seconds. That's a great stop.
Blaney coming off of pit road, but does he win the race off of pit road? No. The 51 of Kyle Busch was able to stay in front of him.
Barely.
As well as the 19 of Brad Keselowski, and there's James Buescher. James Buescher actually pulled right out in front of Ryan Blaney. You saw how slow they were at the exit of pit road.
Losing 2 spots. Ryan Blaney even after a great stop by his crew.
You talked about how important getting on and off the pit road was. Well, that's a great example of it right there.
Next Friday, NASCAR coverage on Fox Sports 1 continues from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Sprint Cup Series practice at noon Eastern, followed by Sprint Cup qualifying at 3 p.m. Eastern. Then it's ARCA Racing live from Kentucky at 8 p.m. Eastern. Fox Sports 1 is your home for complete NASCAR coverage. Under the lights from Chicagoland Speedway, they continue to clean up the racetrack from the 17 of Timothy Peters getting into the wall and putting some fluid down on the track. Timothy has been to the infield care center, checked out and released. More debris on the backstretch that truck is chasing after. Quite a few trucks came onto pit road recently. What happened down there, Hermie?
Well, Rick, the 51 team, you guys saw it, nailed that pit stop for Kyle Busch. They're a little bit concerned about the speed of this truck in the first 3 to 5 laps after a restart, but after that they feel really strongly that they've got something to race for the win, although a little bit snug. They made an air pressure adjustment on the 51. Also, I want to update the fans. Jeff Burton qualified on the pole, ran up front the first part of the race. Has had a couple issues on pit road. We saw the jack issue. They made an extra stop on pit road. He was back to 14th recently, but now back up to 8th with 4 tires and fuel. And Ray, they still have hopes for a solid finish and maybe an outside shot at a win.
Yeah, and Hermie, it was such an interesting situation because we were less than 1 lap away from Brad Keselowski coming to the pits. I assume Kyle Busch was close also. And Ryan Blaney and his crew thought they were really in the catbird seat. They felt like they could stay out there for a length of time and be in good shape. And Ryan came back on the radio and said, guys, we just can't buy any luck. But guess what? They're still in the top 5.
They are, and he's been fun to watch. He's got a fast truck, and his youthful exuberance is making this a great race toward the front. I love it.
And once again, it'll be Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski starting on the front row. This time, Kyle Busch on the high side, Keselowski on the bottom of the racetrack.
We've got a couple guys in the back part of the top 10. John West Townley and Justin Lofton, both solid runs, part of this race.
43 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Dead even when they cross the stripe and work into the bottom of the racetrack. Ryan Blaney making it 3 wide going into turn 1.
Ryan didn't waste any time getting by that 3 truck of Ty Dillon.
That's youthful exuberance. And fun to watch.
Teammates nose to tail once again at the bottom of the racetrack. Brad Keselowski in front of Ryan Blaney. Still racing for that top spot, side by side. Kyle Busch on the outside, Keselowski on the inside.
Where's Ryan Blaney going to go?
Look how long Keselowski's learned to stay on that apron, trying to get himself an angle into that first corner that will allow him to make that move. And man, that's the biggest shortcut we've seen taken. Usually they're just down off the track and right back up, but not tonight.
That time it was 2 trucks that went down to the apron. Now Blaney all the way to the back bumper of that 19, gives him a little bit of a push air-wise, and then gets loose.
Big time loose. We saw him correct through the windshield.
That cost him his momentum. Here comes Buescher and gone.
Ryan Blaney trying to keep it straight. Matt Crafton coming up through the field as we ride along with him, looking forward to that South Point Chevrolet of Brendan Gaughan.
Yeah, that was good pit work by Matt Crafton's guys. He got him out, gained a couple spots. He was about 7th or 8th on the restart. He came in 10th.
James Buescher at the bottom of the track trying to get by that 88 of Crafton. Buescher in the Rheem 31.
That's our battle for the point lead as well, and these guys are racing hard side by side. Look at the push that Crafton's going to get from Ty Dillon, propelling him ahead of Buescher. That's exactly what we saw work for the lead when teammates tied themselves together and drove around Kyle Busch.
There's that 7 of John West Townley, Michael. You were talking about it on the back end of the top 10. Strong truck getting faster.
It is. And remember at Michigan, he went for a spin and still got his career best finish. He likes going fast. He likes these high-speed tracks, and he's got something for him tonight.
Buescher tucks in behind the 7 of John West Townley. Out in front, Brad Keselowski now side by side for second. Ryan Blaney to the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Busch in the Dollar General, number 51 on the high side.
Kyle Busch is really good about squeezing that bottom truck down, making him get loose. We saw Ryan Blaney get really loose a couple laps ago.
Blaney tucks in behind the 51. Kyle Busch.
Look at Crafton. He ran his fastest lap of the race last time by, Phil, so our point leader is starting to get with it. He's got a good truck when it counts.
Looking strong. Under 39 laps remaining at Chicagoland. Keselowski out in front, still looking for his first Truck Series win. Kyle Busch is going to have something to say before the checkered flag flies. The side-by-side battle continues. Very loose was Kyle Busch in the 51. He has to check up.
The same thing we talked about. Brad Keselowski squeezed him down a little bit, got that truck loose, opened up the bottom for Ryan Blaney, his teammate.
Here comes Ryan Blaney in the 29, battling for the second spot, but right back on the gas is the 51 of Kyle Busch. He'll chase down that 19 once again.
What about our man Brendan Gaughan? He's been a part of this top 5 all night long, sneaking up there to try to grab third away from Blaney.
That's South Point Chevrolet, driven by Brendan Gaughan, the number 62.
There's our point leader, Crafton, Ty Dillon. Crafton has done a nice job tonight, guys. He struggled early. They made some adjustments, and now he's strong when it counts.
He worked his way up, back up into the top 10. after he was running about 16th or 18th. And then his pit crew did a job, got him a couple more spots on pit road here on this last pit stop.
Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Brendan Gaughan, Matt Crafton. They're your top 5. And it's Ty Dillon, John West Townley, James Buescher, Austin Dillon, and Jeff Burton, your top 10.
Well, this would be a nice statement for Matt Crafton to make. Hey guys, I'm still here. I'm still around. I can finish in the top 5.
As strong as we've seen James Buescher run, Matt Crafton trying to show that he is also very good on 1.5 mile tracks.
Phil, I don't think top 10s will do it. I think you're right. I think you're exactly right. He's got to finish in the top 5. James got on a roll. He can continue to do that. Those bonus points can eat away at a point lead in a hurry.
And how quickly did Kyle Busch catch back up to that 19 of Brad Keselowski, even after he was sideways?
And then Brad Keselowski moved up the racetrack to where Kyle Busch was running. Brad was aware of that he was gaining ground. Watch the run he gets on the high side.
Momentum in the 51. Will he go to the bottom of the racetrack to try to make the pass before they get back into the third turn?
And we're going to see Brad run that same line up high. Kyle's going to dive down to the inside now. He's going to be able to pull up beside him, but Brad should have some momentum up off the corner.
Yeah, and he also has a teammate that'll be right behind him pushing. He's going to help Brad if he can just get there.
11 1/1000ths of a second separated the top 2 as they crossed the stripe. Keselowski was scored as the race leader. And once again, Keselowski stays in front of that 51 of Kyle Busch.
You see Kyle get loose there when Brad squeezes him down to the inside. How about Brendan Gaughan now?
Brendan Gaughan look to the inside of that 29 of Ryan Blaney. Top 5 on your screen. Matt Crafton running in the 5th spot.
How tough is it to win a truck race? We've got 27 laps to go. Top 5 all tied together. Kyle Busch trying every lap to get around Brad, and Brad not giving an inch.
How hungry is Brad Keselowski? 4 times he's finished second in the Truck Series, but never has he been able to hoist the trophy. In the Camping World Truck Series, tonight could be the night.
The thing I love about Kyle Busch, you'd think he'd never had a win in the Truck Series too. What's he had, 33 of them?
33.
And he's just as hungry as any of them.
Here comes Ryan Blaney looking to the inside of that 51 truck. Blaney to the bottom of the track for second.
And how fun would it be for Blaney or Gaughan or Crafton or any of these guys to sneak up here and beat the Cup stars? And they're right there with a chance to do it.
Ryan Blaney trying to keep that 29 just in front of the 51, but the momentum once again puts that Dollar General 51 of Kyle Busch back to second.
Wow. I love trucks.
Coming up on 25 laps of racing to go, the 150 schedule from here at Chicagoland Speedway. Keselowski still in front.
From America's #1 pregame show comes the all-new Fox Football Daily, featuring an all-star lineup of experts and NFL legends. Get everything you love on Sunday, every day of the week. Fox Football Daily, weeknights 6 p.m. on Fox Sports 1.
It's time to start your next adventure. At Camping World, we feature the best RV products at the best prices to fit your budget.
Camping World is America's #1 RV dealer.
Check out great deals, like a Class C motorhome, starting at only $49,995. And shop outdoor products, like chairs, bikes, grills, and more.
Plus, buy an RV from Camping World and gain access to our Good Sam Elite loyalty program, offering $2,000 in incentives.
With over 100 stores nationwide.
We have everything you'll ever need at Camping World.
Let's pinch our dreams. Let's wake them up. Make them real. Let's not let anything hold us back. Not even 292,000 pounds. Let's keep our head in the stars, our feet on the ground, and nothing will be beyond our reach. Toyota, let's go places.
Ohio State battles Cal. It's a great slate of college football tomorrow on Fox Sports and Fox Sports 1.
When it comes to being better, what's better? Being better or worse? Better! Okay, and what are you better at?
I'm better at telling jokes.
Okay, let's see what you got.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Queen.
Queen who?
Queen my dishes, please.
Queen.
It's Queen to make it funny.
He doesn't get it.
It's not complicated. Better is better. And AT&T is the nation's fastest and now most reliable 4G LTE network.
This is our Autobahn, our formula track, our oval. They can have the asphalt. We'll take everything else. Own the off-road with the Gator that's right for you. See them in action at johndeere.com/Gator. Hurry in to get $500 off select Gator utility vehicles at your John Deere dealer.
With the racing as intense as it was, we didn't want you to miss a pass for the lead, and that's exactly what Kyle Busch was able to do. Get by the 19 of Brad Keselowski. But here comes Keselowski once again. He's battled back, getting close to that back bumper of the 51.
I'm telling you, you cannot imagine how hard these two are driving right now. They both have these things right on the edge of control, and they're pushing it as hard as they can. And Kyle gets a bit of a lead, and Brad gains back on him.
That draft will bring him right back up to Kyle Busch.
Closing the gap and closing in on the final laps. 19 to go here at Chicagoland.
The top three trucks that time ran within 5 1/1000ths of a second of each other.
And the three fastest trucks in this race were back in 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's the draft. They've got a truck to pull up on, and they're running times faster than the leaders.
Crafton, Ty Dillon, and John West Townley. We're riding along with Crafton as he continues to try to chase after Brendan Gaughan for that 4th spot. 18 laps remain from Chicagoland. Kyle Busch in front. He has a 2/10 of a second lead, but that is gone now as the 19 of Brad Keselowski looks down low.
Brad's loose. I don't see how he's going to go down there and make that pass, Phil. He's sideways when he's on his own. It's only going to get worse if he drives to the bottom.
I think that time Kyle Busch had committed to the high side of the racetrack, so Brad knew that he wasn't going to get squeezed down and get looser yet.
As loose as he is, he's still trying to gain ground on Kyle Busch using that low line.
They've been able to put a little distance on Brad's teammate Ryan Blaney, who holds down the 3rd spot.
The two Cup stars continue to battle it out up front. Ryan Blaney has been very impressive, running in the 3rd spot in his Ford. Brendan Gaughan, Matt Crafton rounding out your top 5. And it's Ty Dillon, Townley, Buescher, Austin Dillon, and Jeff Burton your top 10.
Well, you're right. You can look through the windshield at Brad Keselowski's truck, and Brad is sawing on the steering wheel.
And Kyle's pulling out no stop. I mean, he's every stop to try to get him an advantage. He went all the way to the bottom of the racetrack and then swept high, changing his lineup so he could try to break that draft, try to take a shortcut. But Brad's having none of it. He's all over him.
Brad continuing to run in the tire tracks of that 51 of Kyle Busch, right?
They put a little bit of tape on the nose of that Ford for Brad Keselowski on the last pit stop. He said, I think that could be an advantage late here. I'm going to stay right with him. When we were watching practice earlier today, you saw that Brad and Joey Logano were having a lengthy conversation. Hermie Sadler had referred to it earlier tonight. Logano was supposed to drive this truck, but he decided that after making his first chase, he thought maybe he shouldn't. While they were standing there, Brad leaned over and said, hey, isn't Kyle Busch running all 3 races this weekend? And Joey just smiled.
A little distance now between Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. Can he catch him and get his first win? We'll be right back with the checkers. Just inside 10 laps. Now 9 to go from Chicagoland in the EnjoyIllinois.com 225. Kyle Busch just in front of Brad Keselowski.
Well, with the break, Kyle had a second lead, and the last 2 times by, Brad outran him a half a second. You think Brad cooled that right rear tire down a little bit? We've seen him really loose. Maybe took a couple of laps to cool it down, and now mount one last charge at Kyle.
He knows he's running out of time. He has to make it happen. While we're away, Brendan Gaughan made an unscheduled pit stop, gave up a top 5 spot on the South Point Chevrolet.
Kyle Busch all the way to the apron, right up to the grass as he crossed the stripe with 8 laps to go. Keselowski continues to bird dog that 51, closing the gap as the laps wind down.
We're using every inch of racetrack, too.
Once again, the 62 on pit road, Ray.
Well, he was too fast entering last time. That's why he's coming through a pass-through here. But he was blowing water out, and they tried to clear the grill off, but not sure what the problem is.
So overheating for the 62 and things heating up for the top two. Kyle Busch chased by that 19 of Brad Keselowski.
I love this stuff. Brad is driving his heart out, and Kyle's holding on. These two are going after it. Gloves are off, and they're giving it all they got.
And Brad's just going where Kyle isn't. If Kyle runs high, Brad goes to the bottom. If Kyle goes to the bottom, Brad goes to the top.
Trying to find any advantage. Brad Keselowski in all the starts in the Camping World Truck Series and all of the success he's had in the Nationwide Series and in the Cup Series, he's never won in a truck race.
Look at that momentum he gets off of 4. He had a great corner on exit.
Brad, a champion in the Nationwide Series, a champion in the Cup Series.
Looks like Kyle's truck is just handling better, because you never really see Kyle bobbling, and you know he's driving it on as hard as he can, but yet it's staying under control. Brad, on the other hand, has been sideways multiple times trying to grab the lead away.
Right on the edge of control. These two drivers have been driving lap after lap. Now 5 laps to go. The gap, 0.2 of a second. Last time across the start-finish line. Once again, Keselowski running the low line, trying to take advantage of the shorter way around this track.
Looked like Brad had to get out of the throttle on exit there. We heard it.
Again, diving down low through 3 and 4. This time by 4 laps to go. They go to the apron again.
Brad told you before the race on the radio he's finished second more times than he could count in this truck series.
Got a smoker.
That's Jimmy Weller, the 07. He made some contact with the wall earlier. Ooh, Kyle was a little bit wide on exit there.
Look at the run Brad gets.
2 truck lengths the difference between 1 and 2. Keselowski trying to close that gap as the laps close down. All the way up out of the groove is the 19 of Keselowski.
I think he might have got up too high that time.
Yeah, but that's because of the effort. He's just doing all he can do, giving it all he's got.
3 laps. You're wondering where Matt Crafton's running? He looks as though he's going to keep that top 10 streak alive. He's in the 4th spot. James Buescher in the 8th position. Those two battling for the championship. Once again, battling for the lead. Here comes Keselowski.
Kyle just keeps the momentum up on the high side.
2 to go. 3 more miles from Chicagoland Speedway.
Got a lap truck up ahead they're going to have to negotiate around.
Kyle Busch already in 2013 has won 3 Truck Series races in his 7 starts. This is the 4th start for Brad Keselowski in 2013 in the Truck Series. Now another run on the 51. This time by, they're going to see the white flag one more time. One more lap from Chicagoland. White flag in the air.
That's the 81 of Kenny Wallace down there that they're lapping by. Kenny gives them plenty of room on the high side.
All the way up to the top of the track goes the 51 of Kyle Busch. 19 of Brad Keselowski chasing. Kyle trying to break the draft as they go into 3 and 4 for the final time. Kyle Busch with a 4 truck length lead as they come out of turn number 4. Once again, Kyle Busch is going to win at Chicago.
Great job, Rudy. Good job, guys. Hell yeah. Great job. Thank you, thank you.
And that's the 5th time Brad Keselowski has finished 2nd in the Camping World Truck Series.
And how bad does that hurt to be that close and win it that bad and throw it all on the line like you did sideways chasing Kyle Busch and just couldn't get there?
And it's unbelievable how many times that Brad and Kyle have both been in these truck races and how many times Brad comes out on the short end of the stick.
Kyle Busch, the fireworks were on the track earlier. Now they're in the sky celebrating the 34th career win. Kyle Busch in the Truck Series.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
There have been 5 Chicagoland Truck Series races, and 3 of them have been won
by that man, Kyle Busch. A Ram guts and glory tonight. What an incredible battle between two drivers, Brad Keselowski in the 19, the 51 of Kyle Busch.
What would you say? They spent maybe 25, 30 laps running side by side of these 150 laps?
I'd say at least.
That's an epic battle. I mean, those guys both just were throwing it all out there. It was on the line, sideways, digging all they could, and what a great race.
When you say throwing it out there, take a look at this burnout. Kyle has chosen to kind of sit outside the truck and almost gets thrown out of the truck in that burnout. They get right along. He hangs on.
all I can tell you is that's pretty cool. I'm glad he hung on because that's fun to watch.
And he's out of gas. Can't get the truck to victory lane. Let's go to the second place finisher. He's with Ray.
I got to tell you guys, that's one of the most fun races I've watched in a long, long time. What was it like from the cockpit?
It was great. I hope it was a thrill to watch. You know, that's the most fun you can have running second, that's for sure. But we had a really good truck all weekend. Chad Kendrick, everybody in the Draw Tight Ford team, did an awesome job and just came up a little bit short there. Just a little bit off on that last run. Finally came in there at the end, and I just needed a lap or two more to get it. But great effort, and I'm really proud of this group.
The back of this truck, Brad, looks like you raced it at Martinsville.
Yeah, I was outside of Ty there. We were talking about it. He didn't see me there, and I got in the fence there and probably knocked that little bit of speed out of it that I needed, but that's racing.
Fifth time, Brad Keselowski finishes second.
Well, he gave it an effort, though, didn't he? Man, oh, man.
Yeah, sure enough. They have to push. They're going to have to push that truck to victory lane. So the crew's down there. Point standings through 16 races. Guess what? Matt Crafton has finished in the top 10 in all 16 of the races in 2013. That's why he has a 41-point lead over James Buescher.
Made a bit of a statement. It's been a while since he had a top 5 finish. He had a good, solid 4th place finish here.
Ty Dillon, 59 points back. Timothy Peters dropped some positions, 2 spots with his issue on the track. Go back to Ray Dunlap.
Well, these guys were about 1 lap away from maybe changing the outcome in this race. I know you guys had good pit strategy, and it looked like a lot of fun on the racetrack, too.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I hope everyone watching at home and here at Chicagoland Speedway had a good time watching that. That was fun where I was sitting. You know, it was cool to be able to really work with Brad there, and I thought we could keep the 51 behind us. You know, when he get next to Brad, I could kind of push Brad out in front and be able to actually get next to the 51 to slow him down a little bit. Just I can never clear him and then slow him up. But really proud of my guys here at Brad Keselowski Racing. 2 BKR trucks in the top 10 or top 3, I should say, and had a really good shot at winning this thing. So not bad. Just need a little bit more. Just those 2 guys are pretty good up front. So it was really cool to be able to run with them, and had a lot of fun doing it.
All right. A lot of smiles from the guys who finished 2nd and 3rd.
Fox Sports Live coming up just after our interview in victory lane. And they're trying to get the truck to victory lane as they continue to push that 51.
Those guys are out of breath there now.
Well, they've been trying to celebrate, and they want to start the celebration, but they can't do it until they get to victory lane. Our points leader, Matt Crafton, another impressive finish tonight, Ray.
Yeah, here he comes, and I was a little worried you had Serta on the hood tonight, and I thought you might go asleep out there, but brought home another top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I can't thank these guys. I mean, they worked so hard on this thing tonight. This Serta Menards Toyota Tundra. We were junk at the beginning. I thought we had a really good truck, and it would go for about 2-3 laps, and it was like literally had an anchor at the end of the deal, and said it just kept coming. I mean, we came in and just kept throwing stuff at it. I mean, we dropped the track bar, we put wedge in it. I mean, I can't imagine the amount of air pressure adjustments these guys. It says what kind of race team we have. Is every time with Martinsville, we're just about a lap down. Rockingham, we're just about a lap down. And every time we keep working on this thing, and we end up putting it in the top 5. But I'd like to be over there in victory lane, but I'm pretty happy where we are.
There was a lot of hard racing out there tonight, Matt. Was it fun?
Oh, it was a blast. I mean, that is why the Camping World Truck Series is the best racing. I mean, if the fans don't see that, they're crazy.
It's the best racing, and he's doing the best job of it. Crafton comes home 4th. Now let's go over to victory lane.
We're almost there.
The truck's almost there. It's quite a trip to make it to victory lane, especially when you're out of gas. And your
crew's out of gas, too.
Where's the rest of the crew?
We lost some of them.
I mean, there's 10 of them. Why don't they go help their buddies?
Once again, Fox Sports Live will follow us right here on Fox Sports 1. Continuing with the story, the big story here in NASCAR in the Sprint Cup Series. But first, the celebration continues for the 51. Before that, let's go back to Ray.
All right, we got a continuing round down here. Another top 5 for Ty Dillon. Tell us about your night.
It was a long night for us. Our Bass Pro Shop Chevy was definitely fast. The bottom on those restarts was pretty treacherous, so we never got on the top on a restart. I wish we could have and really got a good run. And felt like every time on a restart starting on the bottom, we lose 2 spots and have to gain them back. And then once everybody kind of got single filed, it was really hard to pass. But it made for great racing. It was a great show put on by the Camping World Truck Series. I'm really proud of my guys. Bass Pro Shop Chevy was really fast, and I got to thank Tag Heuer Eyewear, University of Northwestern Ohio. It's a great effort. Our guys are stringing together good finishes. We're working really hard, and you know this championship's going to be tough, but we're going to win some races here at the end. We're battling hard, and we'll keep going. All
right, positive mental attitude for truck number 3, and let me try this one more time. Let's go over to Victory Lane and Hermie Sadler.
Sadly, the 51 truck makes it to Victory Lane, and it is a excited Victory Lane. Your 34th win in this series. They're all fun, but how much fun was that racing with those guys?
That was tough, man. Brad and Ryan there, man, they had some really good trucks today, so can't say enough about this Dollar General Tundra, though. You know, Toyota Tundras are awesome, and we showed it today. We didn't have the speed on the short run, but the long run we had really, really good trucks. So can't say enough. Again, Dollar General, Toyota, Flexco, M&M's, of course, and you know, the fans, we appreciate their support, and Camping World. It's Monster Energy taking that home tonight, but it's been fun. You know, this is great win for this team. This team really deserves it. Rudy and the guys, they've done a great job. They've worked really, really hard and tried some things in practice today. A couple worked, so you know, maybe we can take those to a few other places later on this year.
That's Kyle Busch. He's in Victory Lane. Victory number 34 in the Truck Series.
All smiles for Kyle Busch. Samantha coming in to celebrate along with him. Win number 34 for Kyle Busch in the Truck Series. Domination from Chicagoland. It's time now for Fox Sports Live.